All right, so hey, I'm David, and we're talking about Occupy movement and what it's about and what we can accomplish with the Occupy movement. The Occupy, from all the people that I've talked to, comes down to a sense that 99% of the people are disenfranchised and 1% of the people are controlling everything and taking all the goodies for themselves. So what are the 99% going to do about that is the big question. Right now it's 2012 January, and for the past few decades the middle class has been shrinking, the very wealthy class has been increasing a little bit, and the poor class has been increasing a lot. So a lot of people are feeling left out of the political and economic process. And that seems to be the main concern, from what I can tell, of the people that participate in the Occupy movement. Now, the question comes, how do they do that? The 1% are taking all of this wealth for themselves, taking it from the middle class. How are they doing that? And why is it happening right under our noses? What are we going to do about it? Well, the first question is, how do they do that? Because we can't really, it's hard to do something about a problem until we can identify the problem. So the way, when we look at the socio-political economic system, we can, if you look deeply into it, there's aspects of it that are generally not talked about, that we are not, generally the 99% are not privy to. We're simply not told about those things. It doesn't come out in the media, it doesn't come out in the newspapers, television, anywhere. We just don't see it. You have to dig and dig in locations that are like in the law books. You can find it in the law books if you know where to look. So the main way that the wealthy class, I mean the super wealthy class, takes the wealth from the rest of the people is through a concept that seems really innocent at its face. But when we look more deeply into it, we can see where the more difficult aspects occur. So the two things that I recognize as the biggest problems are, one is corporate personhood, and the other is the current central banking system. And another one we could say would be war profiteering. Those are probably the three big areas of legal mechanisms, legal machineries, legal mechanizations that drain the energy from the 99%. Now, corporate personhood is important because we live in what, as most of us are told to be a constitutional system. However, when we look at what is going on in government, most of what the government is doing now with the Patriot Act and so many things are non-constitutional. The Constitution expressly prohibits the central government from doing that. But the central government, the United States of America incorporated government, does that anyway. And how do they get away with that legally? The way they get away with it legally is that it is not constitutional. The government that we live under is a corporation, and there's a clause in the Constitution that says that no state shall pass any law that impairs the obligation of contracts. So the United States of America Incorporated exists under a contract. It doesn't exist as a part of the Constitution. And most people are not aware of that. Now, they pay lip service to the Constitution, and it makes it look like they're constitutional. But if they were constitutional, how would they be doing all the things that they're doing? And just come on, think a little bit about that, and they couldn't if they were really operating under the Constitution. So, why is corporate personhood important within that scenario? And it works like this. The United States of America Incorporated, it was incorporated in, some say at different times, but you can see a clear footprint or a track of that if you look at the Organic Act of 1871. You can find it on the internet and read it, and read the fine print and the nuances that occur within that document. And you'll see that they're creating a corporation to provide governance to Washington, D.C., 10 square miles of Washington, D.C. Now, they call that corporation to provide that governance for Washington, D.C., they call that the United States of America Incorporated. U.S., USA, all these are trademark terms for that. Also, the government of the United States. You can go to dunandbradstreet.com. It is a website that tracks corporations, that gives credit ratings for corporations. And you can look up who is now the president is Barack H. Obama. You can look up his name on Dun & Bradstreet, or you can look up the United States of America Incorporated, and you can there see that it has a credit rating. And some will say, well, that's just for purposes so that people can invest and buy T-bills if they want to. And on the lighter side of things, that would be correct. But on the heavier side of things, that just shows that it is actually a private corporation. So how does a corporation get jurisdiction over people, human beings? It can't. A corporation exists only on paper. Human beings empower the corporation to function. So the way that the United States of America Incorporated gets jurisdiction over the people is by creating sub-corporations of itself. And then it has jurisdiction, legal jurisdiction, over the sub-corporations. And those sub-corporations are called United States citizens. So that we can see that a United States citizen is not actually a human being. The United States citizen is a sub-corporation. The human being simply agrees to participate or exist or identify oneself as a sub-corporation of the parent corporation, which is United States of America Incorporated. And when the human being agrees to be that sub-corporation, then the parent corporation has jurisdiction over the sub-corporation. And then that parent corporation doesn't have to pay attention to the Constitution, because that sub-corporation is under contract by agreement, by performance on the contract. That sub-corporation, United States citizen, agrees to be contractually bound to pay, to be subservient to the United States of America Incorporated. And I guess we're running out of time on this video. The next one we can get into central banking and why central banking sucks our energy and enslaves us.